The views expressed in this video are solely those of the host and the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization or entity that may be affiliated with. We encourage the viewer to conduct their own research.
Good afternoon, everybody. We have a very special guest while we're recording at the Heartfelt Arena here in Pretoria during the VapeCon convention. And no VapeCon and no discussion around vaping in South Africa can be without the very important Mr. Rob Fisher. I've known Rob for a number of years, and I'd like to just spend some time with Rob talking about his vaping experience and his history and how he sees things going forward in the South African context. Good afternoon, Rob, and welcome to PackBreakers.
Thanks very much. Good to be here. I enjoyed your first episode, so I'm looking forward to this one.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Rob, you were a smoker, correct?
I was a heavy smoker, plus 60 a day.
My word.
Since I was 14.
14.
And so I smoked for 40 odd years.
Okay. And at any of that stage, did you want to quit smoking?
Oh, I tried everything. I tried hypnosis. I tried Champex. I tried the needles.
Acupuncture?
Mm-hmm. I tried everything. And I think the best I did was 3 days.
Okay.
And then I discovered vape.
When did you discover vaping, Rob?
It was about 11 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. I was at the hell stage where if I didn't give up smoking, I was going to die.
Okay.
I'd wake up during the night, unable to breathe, thinking, okay, well, this is it. Time's up.
Yeah.
Get up in the morning and I'd start to cough till I would vomit. And to put the dustbin out up the driveway, I'd have to stop 3 times to rest.
My word.
So it was a case of give up or die. And I got my TWISP. And from that day, I've never touched a cigarette again in 11 years. Today, I go to Pilates 3 times a week, and I walk between 6 and 10 kilometers every day. I've never been fitter. I mean, I weigh less now, and I'm fitter than I have been in 25 years.
So your first product was a TWISP 11 years ago.
Yes.
And obviously, you've progressed enormously there.
I'm a complete high-end vape addict.
Okay.
I go once a year to the Hall of Vape show in Germany because that's where all the fancy mods are available, and much to my wife's displeasure. But you know what? People say you spend so much money on high-end, why do you do it? Well, if I hadn't started vaping, I would be spending millions in high care, dying. Simple as that.
Just for some context, high-end refers to a set of products that are almost artisan-made. They're crafts, they're pieces of art that can be incredibly expensive. And a lot of people around the world collect these one-of-a-kinds or very rare items because vaping is not only a safe alternative, but in this perspective, it's also around innovation, which is what we spoke earlier with Fred Roeder about, the importance of innovation. But it's also about the aesthetics. People like to collect these things. They come in different colors. They come in different shapes and sizes. And it becomes a real personalized thing, much what smoking is. And Rob happens to be one of those collectors of some of the most beautiful devices that I've ever seen. So interesting enough, what I do know, Rob, and I hope I can disclose this year, is that you're also a diabetic.
Yes.
A type 2 diabetic.
Yeah.
Did you get type 2 diabetes as a smoker or as a smoker?
Yeah, I've been a type 2 diabetic for 25 years.
Now, one of the most interesting things is that there's obviously, with a lot of the misinformation and myths around there, is that the belief that vaping would induce insulin resistance.
Absolutely. Absolutely does not. I've tested it 1,000,000 times. It's one of the beauties of vaping is that I can get some sweetness into my body and taste that I can't normally, because if I have bread or sweets, my insulin spikes off the charts, and vaping does not spike my insulin.
Then obviously you do testing every day. You do
All
a
the
glucose
time.
test every
Yeah.
single day, and that's
multiple
manageable.
times a day.
Multiple times. And that's manageable,
Yes.
and you see no fluctuations.
Mm.
So I mean that's very interesting, and it's very it often perplexes me that they can come up with these statements without actually having that kind of evidence or even having that understanding of what's happening out. Because I've known for years that you're type 2 diabetic. I know that you've controlled it, and I know that it had nothing to do with vaping at all. So I just had to ask this question for the audience as one of the myths that we had professed to bust. I'm not saying that this is the beginning or end of it, but Rob proves as an example that type 2 diabetes or diabetes itself is not an issue when it comes to vaping. It's very easily manageable and controlled. And I think there's a lot of noise in this particular stuff. So you've been vaping for 11 years. Can I ask, when you started with the Twist product, they were traditionally quite high levels of nicotine. Have you seen a reduction in the nicotine strength?
Oh, massive. Yeah, I started at 18 milligram, and I was on 9 for quite a long time, and I'm now on 2%.
So from 18 to 9 to 2. So it's a very similar story to mine.
I went to 6 to 2 to 3 to 2.
Okay. So I'm a very similar story to mine. Started at 18 with a Twist. Eventually moved down to about a 12. Stayed on 12 for a while, and then a massive jump down to 3. And now it's between 3 and 2, depending on what's available.
Yeah.
What's available.
Yeah.
And you do feel a lot better than you ever did.
No question. Absolutely no. I mean, that's why I get so mad when people say vaping is bad for you. I'm the perfect example. I mean, I've been through the whole session, and I know if it wasn't for vaping, people, I call this my religion. Why? Because this actually saved my life. I would not be here today if I was still smoking. It's as simple as that. Absolutely. And more than that, I just can't say.
Another important element around this, which I find personally, is the family element. What is the family's response, and how do they feel about these changes to your life?
The family are really happy that I switched to vaping because they've seen the improvement. My wife goes mad if we're watching TV and I've got a crackly coil in.
Okay.
So I have special quiet coils made for me for when I'm watching TV. But the family are actually really happy because they wouldn't have me if it wasn't for vaping.
But did you experience that the same when you started with the Twist? Because in my experience, there was a lot of unknowns. We didn't have access to things like the Royal College of Physicians or Cochrane or any other stuff.
But I felt the difference straight. I mean, I actually missed that transition from smoking to vaping. That first 3 to 4 months was really exciting for me because I could feel my body changing.
Okay.
I could feel the improvement. My wife would say, look at the color in your face. I used to be gray from when I was smoking. So, it was a fantastic, it was a learning curve, but it was a really enjoyable. When I see a smoker and they're about to convert, I'm actually jealous that they're going to go through that journey. Because, lettuce has got a taste.
Yes.
I only discovered that 11 years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most remarkable things is that you do get your taste back.
Couldn't drink coffee for quite a while.
Okay.
That was the one thing.
It's too bitter.
Yeah, it was. It took me about 6 months to drink coffee again.
Because of the bitterness of the taste.
Yeah.
So this is an important question. How quickly did it take you from a smoker to a non-smoker through vapes? I mean, how long did it take you? For me, it was 3 days.
It was 50 seconds.
Okay. Instantly.
You
never touched a cigarette again?
I never touched a cigarette again. I've never, ever in 11 years even held a cigarette.
Okay, you went up on me. I had to hold a cigarette because someone was tying their shoelace. So I think that's important is that, you do get these accidental quitters. Earlier we were speaking to Michael and he was an accidental quitter. You and myself are in the same as that there was an intent to quit.
Absolutely.
There was an intent. And when the right product arrived, it was almost instant.
Yeah.
Now here we come to the difficult thing, which might lead to some blood pressure raising or so forth and so on. Seeing that you understand what it was to be a smoker, what your life was like as a smoker, and going through that transition and now being smoke-free. And it's fair to say that you enjoy vaping. Vaping is a big part of your life.
Big time.
And it might not just be the flavors, but it might need the nicotine plays some role in your life. Even though at 2 milligrams, it still plays a role.
I imagine so, but I could stop if I wanted to. But I thoroughly...
Have you tried?
I don't want to.
Okay.
I'm never, ever going to stop.
Why wouldn't you want to stop?
Because I enjoy the camaraderie. I've got friends all over the planet that I talk to on a daily basis. We discuss high-end vape gear, and I've got a lot of friends, and I enjoy collecting.
Okay.
There's no app, and my health is spot on. I mean, I've never been healthier in a very long time.
No, because you post those things every single day religiously.
Correct.
On Facebook.
Yep.
The distance you travel, the same route, so forth.
Yep.
So for me, it's always been about the fear of going back to smoking. Always been the fear about,
It's not been for me.
Okay.
I have absolutely, there is no way in a billion years I will ever pick up a cigarette again.
Now, here comes the question. Given what we know with the tobacco bill, the tobacco products, electronic delivery, nicotine system.
I'm going to say some bad words.
I hope not.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to be angry, but let's,
Okay, keep it PG.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If it gets passed in the way it is passed, it's going to make it very difficult if every one of those regulations come to pass. And it literally makes your life difficult, or makes the life that you're leading now difficult because of all these restrictions. I know a lot of people say we're not banning vapes, but the reality is that when you do look at some of those subjects or some of those clauses within the bill, it's going to make it impossible for any business to sustain in order to achieve those things, and it might make it incredibly difficult. What is your view on this bill?
I'm the eternal optimist, and I just believe that it's not going to go in as it's written. It can't possibly. I mean, there would be a riot. I mean, the people, we won't stand for it.
Do you believe that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just, I'm okay, Jack. I've got a lot of vapes at home. I know where to get the juice. So it won't affect me, because I vape the same juice, have vaped the same juice for the last 6 years. So it won't affect me, but it'll affect all the other people, which I'm trying not to say bad words because it just incenses me so much. There's just so much proof that vaping is a better alternative to smoking, and for the government to start putting this kind of horse crap out is just, it makes me want to become a revolutionary.
Okay. Because, I mean, as you said, you're an okay Jack.
Yeah.
I'm a relatively okay Jack,
Yeah.
But there are a whole host of people out there that will be severely negatively affected.
Horrendous.
But it's not only that, it also removes the opportunity of other people that going through what we went through as
100%.
smokers, removing that opportunity of them achieving the best possible health outcome that they can. Because the reality is many people just cannot quit smoking.
It's quite interesting. I belong to a fishing club. I fish, got my project colors for bass fishing. And at the club, we had a lot of smokers. And slowly but surely, I've converted 97% of them to vaping. So you can always tell when our club is on the water because you see these puffs of clouds. So, I spend a lot of time trying to convert people.
But that brings in another important element. It's just your involvement in that club.
Yes.
And you are evidence of the success.
Yeah.
And other people can see this. And obviously it takes a bit of a push from your side, which I'm sure is quite a nasty one, quite a robust push. Yeah. Have those people converted?
Yes.
They no longer smoke.
Yeah.
And how many people are we talking about here, Rob?
There's probably 9 of them.
9 just because you vape. And I think that's a critical factor here, is that when you do see the success of vaping,
Yeah,
when you
absolutely.
genuinely see the success of vaping, it does help other people make that switch.
Because they all know I walk and I do Pilates, and it's difference.
Okay.
I mean, they can see the difference in weight loss and in my skin color.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you haven't been in the commercial field of
No.
vaping at all.
I've made a point of not getting into the commercial field because I want to stay independent and not beholden to anybody. I want to say what I want to say when I want to say it. I've had lots of people say, "Come on, let's do a vape business together." I'm not interested. My normal business does well enough for me, so I've tried to stay independent, so I can have discussions with all vape people. And there's no hidden agenda with me. It is like it is.
You are part of the VPASA as a director.
Yes, I'm a director of VPASA. Yes.
And you get no financial incentive from
nothing.
VPASA. And I think the reason why VPASA has asked you to be that is because you happen to be the consumer.
Correct.
And provide very valuable insight as to what it means to be a consumer.
100%.
Rob, is there anything you want to add? If you were given the opportunity to speak to a parliamentarian or the health minister or anything like that, be nice, be friendly. What would you like them to know about you vaping and what they're getting wrong?
They're getting everything wrong. Vaping saved my life. I know that's dramatic, but it is absolutely true.
I wear it on my shirt, Rob.
Yes. And I just want to say sorry to all the people that I hugged back in the day when I smoked, because smokers stink.
Yeah, and I think, we got to be careful. I agree, and I share the same sentiment. But I have a very strong opinion about how smokers have been so stigmatized and ostracized that to a point when they are approached by a medical professional that they would actually lie about their smoking history, which could jeopardize their health even more.
100%.
So we've programmed a group of individuals who, let's face it, 98% of them had started smoking as teenagers. And now as they reach their middle age and older ages where smoking is really affecting their health, they feel the need to lie about their status. They feel some level of shame and so forth. Yeah. And I think we need to bring that to the foreground and to say, you know what, there is a solution for these guys. We shouldn't be treating them the way we're treating them because they unfortunately were snared in the nicotine trap, and we have to acknowledge that nicotine is addictive. But why can't we help them like we would help any other person? Because they are people.
It's the part that makes me really crazy is vaping saves lives for sure. And all those people Sweden was a brilliant example in that talk. I mean, they're saving their country.
Absolutely. And it was saved purely not by an actual policy change. It was just by people being given the opportunity to make better choices. Yeah. And funny enough, they took them.
100%.
Funny enough, they took them. And unfortunately, we're not in that space yet. And I'm hoping that we do get to that space because we see more smokers in South Africa than we ever have. It's probably an incorrect statement, but we've seen a massive growth in smoking in South Africa. And I think our focus should not be about regulating and bashing it with a blunt instrument even more. The focus should be now on assistance
100%
and support.
100%.
Rob, thank you very much for spending some time with us. Thank you very much for what you do in the industry. And thank you for taking some of those calls of mine. I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
You are a blessing to the vaping industry in South Africa, and I'm really appreciative of you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.